Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hello, hello. Hello, happy paper people. Make sure we've got everything on here. Okay, awesome. And we are set up on YouTube so I can see us there. Awesome. I've got my notes for our Wheel of Names. You're here on time, dagnabbit. I love it. Hi, Margie. Hi, Sylvia. So glad to see you guys. I am writing down Margie and Sylvia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel with your super chats. Do appreciate that. Wow, you two are the first two here. Are you the only ones here? Ooh. Keep me out. You got it. I'll keep you off the wheel, Margie. I appreciate your support immensely. You know that. You know that. Well, I'm excited because we're going to do something really fun today. And I'm really glad Sylvia's here because it was, it ties into something that she had sent me to look at that she had seen that she thought was pretty cool. And I'm hoping that you're going to be able to get one started, Sylvia. Let's see if I've got, that's close enough. It's close enough. Oh, hi, Glennis. I'm sorry I didn't scroll back. Aw, I hope you're feeling better. I hope rest is helping you some at all. I know it's been a rough weekend for you. You had a busy weekend and your furnace is out, getting a new furnace today. So hello. Okay, so let's get right into it. And hi, Chris. Welcome. Anybody who's watching on replay or comes in late and goes back and catches up to where they are will be able to hear all this too. So let's just do a quick I'm going to get a lozenge in my throat right now just to start. And remember that I don't have to talk so loud. Microphones are great. I don't have to speak very loud. I always forget that. Okay, if you're doing the train challenge, excuse me, allergies are still killing me. I would think that they would be about gone now, but we had a ton of rain last week. It rained all week long, and I think all it did was water things and make them sprout, and spores go in the air, and lots of stuff growing again. So, yeah, allergies are still kicking my butt. Hi, Carrie. Welcome. Okay, so okay. So let's go down some housekeeping first, some things that everybody needs to know. This is the last week of the train challenge. If you're doing the train journal challenge that came from Margie, if you're not sure what that is, you have plenty of time. We have this week, you have the whole week to complete this journal, and it can be any size, any type, any way you want. The train journal is all written up in a post in Happy Paper People Facebook group. You can go there, go to the featured posts, and just click on that. You can get all the details. It is basically just making a journal with the theme train or trains. That is completely up to you how you interpret it. So many different ways that you could interpret train. Anything from circus train to bridle train to locomotive train to whatever. You interpret train however you want. So it's been going on for 6 weeks. This is the 7th week and final week. That gives plenty of time to make a journal. And many of you whip journals up in a day. So you can do it this week. That's not a big deal. Each week of the month, we had a prompt. The prompt was something that you were asked to do within the journal. And those prompts don't have to be done all at the same time. I mean, they don't have to be done each week when they were put out. They could be done at the very end. If you waited till now and you're just going to go complete the journal this week and do all the prompts at one time, that is totally fine. So quick recap. The prompts for week 1 through 6 have been 3 tags, 3 tabs, TABS, 3 pockets, use fabric or doily, and use brads. And then week 6 was book jewelry of any kind. Glennis made the cutest dangles off her book that were made of buttons. That was super cute, a great idea. Week 7, this is the final week because the train journals need to be completed and either video or pictures or whatever you want, posted in the group, in the Facebook group by Sunday night, the 26th at midnight, to be considered part of this challenge. And we just want to see what everybody made. I know it's the last week already. 7 weeks seems like so long, and it just flies by. So the 7th week prompt is super easy. So if you're playing a lot of catch up this week, this is a super easy one. It is to add a cat, C-A-T, cat. Every train needs a cat, right? A train cat. So in honor of Margie, add a cat somewhere, anywhere, anyhow in your journal. So that's the train challenge. You can also go to the group, look at that featured post, ask questions in the group, ask any questions you want at all. Please don't forget to post your progress, post your completed journals. Can't wait to see them. Second thing is this week's prize pack. So far, every person has opted to do the $10 shipping and get the flat rate padded envelope full of stuff, because it's a lot more than what's just in the little bag. And so I just packed like 10 of these envelopes. I have been organizing and getting things ready for what we're going to talk about next, pulling things from the shop and pulling things that we've made on Monday Jumpstart, and supplies, and going through estate sale finds and all of those things. And so I just started packing envelopes. So I have packed a whole bunch in preparation of these padded flat rate envelopes. They cost, the least expensive to ship them is $10.50. It depends where you are in the country. And they're adding a surcharge on right now from now until the end of the holidays. They do that every year. That's not new for USPS. But what I ask of you, if you are the winner, if you just send $10 for shipping, I'll pick up whatever's left at, a couple of bucks there. No big deal. And we'll send you today's prize pack. So at the end of today's broadcast, and we do this every single time we do a live, at the end of the broadcast, we will put on the circle, the wheel of names, so that you get to see it drawn live right here, the name of everybody who does a super chat today during the live to support the HPP channel. We really, really appreciate that. And just to show appreciation, I want to give everybody a chance to win a prize pack. This one, if I remember right, has at least 2 stamps in it and an embossing folder die set. And one of my favorite things, this is a pack of tickets. She's looking at them. They're going, those are not stamps. Tickets. All kinds of different tickets, different colors, different kind of styles, different things on them. It's just a super fun, and there's lots and lots of them in here. So there is a whole pack of these tickets. So that is in there, amongst a lot of other things that are jammed into this bag. So that is today's prize pack that will go out. We'll do that at the end. I've got the list going. So anybody who does a super chat today during today's live. Okay, so the third thing that I am really excited about and really looking forward to, last year we didn't do this, and it was the first year we didn't do it. We did something different, and it was short, and I got lots and lots of messages about how much everybody missed our traditional Black Friday all-day sale. So we're going to do it again this year, and I'm already organizing everything in the shop. This is going to be the biggest Black Friday clearance sale that we have ever had at HPP. So we've had some pretty good sales, some pretty good clearance sales. This is going to be the deepest clearance that we have ever had. We'll go all day Black Friday. We'll start at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So that is 9, 10, 11, or 12, depending on where you're at. And that'll be Black Friday, so you can shop from home, get some great deals. The link is already created. The link is in the description box below here. If you want to already grab that and make sure that it's got you, notify me or whatever, get it on your calendar. Don't miss this. We will have drawings throughout the day of giveaways. We'll do giveaways throughout the day. We are going to have hot buys. This is where the whole Kilt Man started with the hot buys. We will have hot buys that are $1 a piece. Hot buys are fantastic. And so I'm already putting together the grouping of things that are going to be hot buys, and there will be a bunch of those. We may have some hot buys that are more than $1, but are 75, 80% off of what retail is. So even if it was $4 or $5, it would be $5 instead of paying 30. So I think I've got enough of a couple of things that we might be able to do some really good deals like that on a hot buy. Hot buys, I like to try to have enough that lots of people can get them. Those are no fun when there's a hot buy for $1 and only 10 people can get it. So those will be things that I have a lot of that we can just let everybody get a really great deal. There is going to be so much stuff. If you want, after we're done here, go click on the link in the description box, because that description box does give you an idea of some of the things that you are likely to see that day. And it is not an all-inclusive list. It's just what was on the top of my head after running through the shop. But there's a lot more things in drawers and bins and boxes. So going through that. And I'm getting really excited to do that, because that is just a fun day. We all like shopping at 50 to 90% off. So that's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to that day. Chris, I'm adding you to the list for today's drawing. Thank you. Thank you. Have some tiny binders and never thought about using scraps in them. Awesome. Thank you. So that leads us right into today's. So I have this tiny binder. This is how it started. And there will be some of these on the Black Friday sale, by the way. They were really inexpensive when we first had them. They're going to be even more so now, because everything is going to be clearanced. Nothing is going to be regular price or even the regular HPP price, which was always discounted from retail. So this is how this started. I will say, well, and what I did was every time I did a project or made something and I had some just little scraps, pretty paper, just little scraps, I would just glue it in here. And, you know, it's just pretty. And so I didn't really want to throw them away because they're just pretty paper, but they're just tiny scraps. And I am, thank you, Margie, I am over keeping teeny tiny scraps. I really am. Everything I do creates more scraps. And so I don't really, and this is multiple papers glued together. You can't really see, that kind of looks like all one paper. It's not. I don't really want to keep teeny tiny scraps anymore. And so if I have some small scraps of something that's really pretty from a project, I just glue it in here. And I thought, I'll just make myself a tiny art journal. As I glue the scraps in here, it is a book of scraps. And then I can start art journaling on top of these if I want to. And art journaling, I say that very loosely because that means you can do anything. You could doodle on these. You could just decorate them with stickers. You could do watercolor on them, acrylic. You could use stencils. I've already put a couple of stickers on a couple of them. So you could do anything that you want in here. So then these are gel prints on this page. And this was towards the very end. And before I go on, I do want to say that the pages that come in this tiny journal, there was that many pages. But by the time I glued scraps on front and back, you know, they double or triple in size. There wasn't room for all of these. So this is how many I had to take out. I can make an entire another journal with the 3 little rings on that one. So I'm really getting 2 journals out of one with that. It's got half the pages that this does to start. I'm just making sure, Sylvia, that yep, I got Carrie on there. Got Carrie on the list. Thank you, Carrie Indigo, for your super chat. Boy, I really do appreciate your support. Thank you, Sylvia, for making sure that I didn't miss that. 3-word sentences. Yeah, those little words. You know, I've always got, seems like there's always little butterflies floating around. There's things cut out with stamp edges, and there's little embellishments and just all kinds of little things that, oh, that will be cute in that. I've always got these little containers like that on my desk when there's little stuff, I just shove them in there. So there's words and there's embellishments and there's just, you know, flowers and tickets, and those will be perfect things to decorate it with. So when I was finishing this, I was coming to the very end. I did the last 4 or 5 pages all the same day. And I did these gel plates, and I thought, I want to do a book of scraps that is just gel prints, because I have, I don't even know. I don't even want to count how many. Hi, Jill. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And thank you. Thank you for your contribution and your support. I've got you on the list. The Black Friday sale is Friday, November 28th on Black Friday. Put it on the calendar. I wanted to get the event out there way ahead of time so people would see it. It wouldn't be a last minute thing. Friday, November 28th. So I wanted to do a book of scraps that is just gel prints, because I have some gel prints that I really love, or I really like the colors, and I just can't use them all. I don't even make enough journals that I could use them all. I literally have hundreds of pages of gel prints, and that's even after giving and selling some, away. So then I thought, but if I do gel prints, first I thought, well, I'll start the next one with that. Then I thought, but I don't want those to be such little teeny tiny, because I've got a lot of gel prints that have bigger pieces, or they're a whole page, and I want to tear off a huge section of that to use. So I thought, well, I'll do a larger book. And so this is a book that I just picked up at Ross for $5, and it is mixed media paper. So it's a little bit heavier paper. Can take all the glue and stuff. And if I wanted to do some other things on top of it, mixed media on top of it. So I thought, well, that would be a really good one. And then I thought, if I do it in a book, no matter what I do in the book, it's going to triple in size like this one, because I'm gluing on both sides. So this binder is not a bad idea, because I could tear out as many pages as I need to. And actually it's perforated right here. So I could tear it all out. I could tear off the perforation. And so I could still use these mixed media pieces of paper. And so that is an option. And I might still do that. I suspect that I would only get probably, half, maybe a little bit more of these pages, and all the rest of them would have to come out, because it would just be too thick, unless you want it to be, like that. Some people like a big gator mouse, some people don't. So then Sylvia sent me this video, and several others mentioned it. And so I know a lot of you have seen it, and it's Natasha at Treasure Books. And she did what she called a book of scraps. Same kind of thing, but it wasn't teeny tiny like this. It was larger. And what she did was grab paper and do it on the paper, and then just bound the paper together as a book. And I thought, okay, if I do that, then I can do as many as I want. I can bind it in one book or multiple books, however, and I don't know how thick it'll be until I'm done. So maybe that's the better way to go. So that's what we're going to start today. Now, this is not something that I see getting done in one day. And Margie, get out of my head. Oh, that is so funny. I always, that I'm a huge fan of black and white. I love black and white. So anytime I can have a black background and have that contrast, I really like that. I also think that there are certain papers that are really going to pop better on white background. I also think that any other color, any other solid color would make a good background for this book of scraps, as long as it's a solid color background, because what it does is end up looking like a frame. And so we're going to do that today, and we're going to start it. We're going to see how far we get. I have, a page here for black, and that gives me 4 sides to cover, and a page of white. I didn't grab other colors, although you could. I really do think that any color would look good and would be great with this project. I did, as I was sitting here preparing to start, I did one side of one page. I just glued some scraps down. And then just to give you an idea of where this can go. And feel free to go watch Natasha at Treasure Books, watch her link. I did not grab the link and get it into the description box, but super easy to find. A lot of you follow her anyway. So, and a lot of you have probably already seen the video. Several of you had mentioned it to me. Stop making sense, right? So, just gluing the scraps down. And then she did, and she wrote down like 12 different steps, that she did. And first was putting the scraps down. And then like, this is just some, cream paste with a stencil. After that completely dries, you could color it if you want. I like the white contrast on all the colored paper. But then she added some embellishments. She might have added some, little gold foil pieces here or there. She did gold along the edges. She put a word on each page. And so her list was like, add a word, add embellishments, add a focal point. And so, she'd go along and add a butterfly or something. So even if a piece is like, this is really pretty, it doesn't have any pattern to it. And maybe I have a really tiny strip of little bling that could go down that or something, just makes it prettier. A butterfly could sit nicely in this one. But by the time you finish and put all these pages together, it's a really beautiful book of art. And so once you get all these pages done, then you've got your base pages. You could then choose to, take a gold pen and outline every one of them with gold or a silver, those foil pens. You could choose to doodle in them. We have, Carrie and Sylvia do excellent doodling. I've learned so much from them, but some of these would be really great to doodle in. Even ones like this one has writing on it, but it's so set back that you could doodle right over the top of that with a black pen. So there's so many things that you could do on it. I think she did some paint, some watercolor, even some acrylic. You could do all kinds of stuff. Lunar paste would be great. Yeah, lunar paste or solar paste would be really awesome on that. And so, but the point is when you get all these pages done and then you bind them together, even before you've decorated them, you'll know how much space they take because you've got the pages already done. Then you've made yourself a really beautiful art journal. Whether you choose to write on it, or you could write sayings or verses or words or things in some of those that you might doodle on. Whether you choose to write in it, paint on it, put paste on it, put stickers, it doesn't matter, or leave it as it is, whatever you choose to do with it. It's a really pretty art journal. It's a journal of art. And here's the thing. Why do we keep these strips? Why do we keep the scrap pieces, these little things? Because, this is what was cut off from a project. And that's really pretty paper. I don't want to throw it away. It's really pretty paper. So by putting it, here's my thought anyway, by putting it into this little art journal or big art journal, then what I'm doing is giving myself a way to be able to look at that pretty piece of paper forever. If the project that it went into was cards and the cards are given away, or if it was a book or a journal and that was given away or sold, you might not have those things forever. But the little scraps that go in here remind me of that piece of paper that I loved, and I can then look at it forever. So gold foil to feather would look really, really cool. Yeah, it was a fun video. And I agreed with her at the end. She said this probably should have been a series. Yeah, would make a great series. And I'm not going to take her idea away and do that. Although we may do it as a series on Monday Jumpstart. But she took over a week to make that journal. And then she mashed it all up and just a couple of hour video. I don't even know how long it was. You can put it on double time speed and listen and watch. And it's just really pretty. It's fun to see the evolution of it. And at the end, if you have a hard time visualizing what it'll look like, you can go to the end and, and get a look. This is just the beginning of what it looks like. But you can go to the end, see what her end result is, then go back to the beginning and start the process. And it's really cool. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do today. Fabric, words, stickers. Yes, she actually put some lace on some little pieces of fabric. That was one of the things on her list. She sewed on it, sewed around some of the edges or around some of the individual scrap pieces. Large number, that would be great. Large calligraphy letter, spray pages, stencil, watercolor, make marks. Yes, Sylvia, you are so right. The options, the possibilities really, truly are endless. You can literally do anything. So who's going to start a page today with me? And you don't have to do the entire book today, but we can start a page or pages. We can see how much we get done. The one thing that I think that I put things down and then they may get moved around. You just never know. So I'm just going to set them down. I like the black paper that ends up looking like like a frame around each of those, which is what I think really highlights that piece of paper. And likewise, I think the white would be a really cool frame around a lot of them. You know, I mean, in the exact same way. So whether it's blue or black, see, that almost looks better on the white than it does on the black. It's hard to see on the black, and I really love this gel print. So I'm going to lay them out. And these are scrap. You could tear them. You could leave them exactly as they are. You could lay out the scraps. I think I might use those as 2 separate scraps. So I'm just going to cut for my first one here. I'm going to use them with straight edges. I'm going to do straight edges. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out where I think I might like them. And if I like them there and don't move them around, then perfect. I'll just glue them down. So you could color code them, or you cannot. You can just put anything together. So because the first thing I picked up was a piece of gold. It's kind of a gold foil. It's like a handmade paper. And so it's very soft and flexible, but it's got a gold foil embossed. Then I'm going to do the rest of the ones on this page, things that maybe have gold or, reflect gold as opposed to silver. This was the first one I put down, and then I put this silver sparkly one down. And so then I was looking for things that if they did have sparkle or metallic on it, that they had silver. But then I ended up with this gold piece down here, and I liked the way it looked. So, there's no constraints. There's no rules. It's a very good use of well-loved scraps. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, these are some of my favorite spray pages, gel prints, and then they're sprayed. And I just don't want to let go of, maybe I won't even cut that. Maybe I'll just leave that as is, that odd edge. Morning, Lucy. Hello. That's the reason I find that I keep the scraps, because I really like the paper. And so I don't want to throw it away because it's so pretty. But if I can put it in something like this that I can look at it forever, then great. That feels awesome. Why do you guys keep scraps? Do you have other reasons? I'm looking over here for something that might, maybe I need to not think so hard about color coordinating and just get some things in there. Something small like that. Then probably could even be something a little bit thinner. Good to see you, Lucy. Why do you guys keep scraps? There's probably different reasons than mine. Told you why I keep them. And, there's always that feeling of, well, it's usable, so I hate to waste something that's usable. But mostly it's because I think it's a pretty piece of paper, and I don't want to waste that paper. That one goes there. That'll work. I'm going to leave that odd edge there because I've got the odd edge down here, and then something in the middle. Keep scraps because I was a raven in my past life, and I love nest building. I love that. Valid reason. Love that reason. Ooh, there's purple and gold. I don't want to get too much gold here. Maybe I'm getting a little too focused on making sure everything goes with gold and get too much gold. I don't want to end up with too much gold. That one's already folded right there, so I'm just going to cut it. Let's see if that will go right there. And then I'm going to need a little piece for in here. Let's see. Now, recently, I went through scraps and I threw away tons and tons of little tiny scraps. So I have to be honest, I don't have a ton of little tiny scraps right now. So that's okay, because I think that these big scraps are gonna do the job just fine. Let's see, how big is that? And if I can cut that across the top. I just want to leave enough that I see a little border between each of them because I like that black. I like that black border. I'm going to thin this one down just a little bit. Yeah, if you haven't seen Natasha's video, I'd recommend watching it. It's fun. And it's really cool to see her end result journal, which we are not going to get to today. As I said, it took her a week to do that, as detailed as she did. It took a week to do that. And she mashed it all down into one video. That took a lot of editing for sure. Okay, so there's a page. You can always make more tiny scraps, right? Okay, even while I'm fitting scraps on here, I'm making more tiny scraps. I am going to throw away anything that is like this, just little itty bitty. And I'll leave these until we're done. But when we're done, anything that's tiny like that is getting thrown away. I'm just not hanging on to those little tiny scraps anymore because, like Margie said, it's not that you can make more. You always do. Everything we do makes more scraps. So use whatever glue you feel comfortable will stick. If you like a glue stick, great. If you don't like a glue stick or that doesn't work so well for you, use whatever. Purchased a desk vacuum, so no more wee scraps. Yes, love using that illegitimate creature. I have a tiny one that rolls across the top and picks up glitter and the little itty bitty scraps like that. So yeah, I love that thing, Sylvia. It's really awesome creation. You're not in the holiday spirit. I'm telling you, have Christmas in July is the answer. I agree with that. Here's the truth. I don't have time now to do anything Halloween, and I really wanted to do something Halloween, but I think it's getting a little bit late. We're like, 2 weeks, if that, or a week and a half, 2 weeks from Halloween. That's cutting it a little close. I don't want to feel rushed to do something like that, but and Christmas, I should be doing it now. So I really want to be doing Halloween in September and maybe the very beginning of October, but I want to enjoy the process of doing it and not feel so rushed. And so then I can put it out, enjoy it, whether it's send cards or look at the decorations. And then I want to be doing Christmas. If I wait, I want to be doing Christmas in October, maybe the beginning of November, but I really see getting it done like in October, because when it gets to November, I want to be able to enjoy the holidays and the time with family without having to worry about this rush of, getting those things done. I want just a little more room between those so I can see that gap. There we go. Seriously, I love the idea of Christmas in July. I mean, I think that probably originally started out as a sales gimmick to get people to come in and shop, in July, to good sales, thinking about Christmas already. But honestly, for us, if you like to do things for the holidays, craft or art-wise, I think that's really smart. Christmas in July. There's no pressure. Maybe will this tiny, oh yeah, look at that. Look how cute this is. It's just a little tiny strip of music. And that has been sitting on my desk forever, waiting for just the right spot to use it. And I think this might be it. You just stick my pin in there and unclog that a little bit. I love that. Glue's going to dry clear, so I'm not real worried if I get a little bit out the edge there. Christmas in July is really a great idea. I know Sylvia did that this year, and she made all her Christmas. And so now she's not feeling that stress at all about trying to get things ready for Christmas. Because she's done. And I'm just thinking about Christmas. It's been a little bit of a busy year and, haven't had a ton of time to think about that. But that's my plan for next year, is to do Christmas in July. All right, that's a cool metallic piece. And I saw some copper. And see, don't worry about putting down solid pieces, because those solid pieces give you a good platform, as Sylvia said, to doodle on or write a phrase in or put a word or an embellishment. don't want all, I'm going to bend this back and try to get it to really lay flat. If I see ones that are really good on white, I'll set them over there. But right now I'm just going to focus on the black page. And let's see, keep all the little scraps over here together. When I crochet and knitted, I was doing gifts all year long. Yeah, you do them, you're ready. You don't have to do them last minute. What happens if you don't feel good last minute? Or, you know, I mean, things happen and you just don't have time, or things happen in the family, or you just don't feel well. This would be cool here, facing either way. I'm just going to cut that off. It's another, you know, like page edge that's been sitting here forever. It's getting wrinkly because it's just been sitting here forever. Needs to be used, but it's really pretty and iridescent metallic, and I didn't want to get rid of it. Hey, thinking about Christmas in July. Way back when my kids were young, I would buy or make presents all year long. By the time Christmas was here, I had way too much stuff, and then I'd forget. Oh, Lucy, but you know what? I do think that is really smart, and I always operated that way too when I was, you know, lots of things for family, because I couldn't afford to just go out and buy everything in November or December. And also, I don't want to just buy a gift to be buying a gift. So I would, all year long, when I saw something that I knew somebody would really like, or was perfect for them, or it was on sale, or whatever it was, I would get it then. And as you said, stash it away. Hope that you remember where it is. I started a little notebook that I could keep them in, because if I didn't, I would not remember where anything was. And so I was usually done by October. And so then as we went into the holidays, I could really enjoy the holidays and not have to worry about shopping. Because, yeah, I see way too many people. They're just like panicking December, even right up to Christmas Eve, panicking, trying to find gifts. And then I feel like we're just spending money to spend money, just spending money to buy a gift. And I don't want to just buy a gift. I want to get something that I think somebody's going to, you know, is really going to like, really going to enjoy. Too many up and down together. I would lose the notebook. iPad. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. You know, way back in the day, didn't have iPads and stuff. Now I would put it in notes on my phone, because it would just, yeah, stay there and be there, as Glennis is saying. But back in the day, it was a notebook, because, you know, most of my life, there wasn't all that technology. You know, yours too. You're all with me, I know. But yeah, that can be, that's the one thing I had to not lose, was the notebook. And if you stick it somewhere like your underwear drawer that you're going to see every single day as you open it, it's a little bit easier, you know, to keep track of. That can be pretty, just with that little bit of music. I'm trying not to get too picky about what I'm putting in there. Also don't want super distracting, but then I have to remember that by the time we finish this, we're going to be doing other things to it. You know, we're going to be adding stuff. So these are not necessarily going to be the focal point. They're going to become the beautiful background. Okay, there we go. I'm happy with that. Oh, that's cute. I could go right there. Got some long ones there. I need some little things. So there's more long strips. About some little guys. Looking for some more little pieces. How wide? Okay, I'll just maybe put some little chunks going right down here. These are all smaller pieces over here, so maybe ones I can take chunks off of. I don't even think I cut that straight. And I'm not sure it even matters. Do you think it matters? By the time we get done and we decorate it, it probably doesn't matter, does it? Don't like my phone. I'm a writer. Love to write. That's why I have so many work. Sylvia, I'm with you. Here's the truth. Doug is very, very techie. He doesn't write a lot. He puts everything in his phone. He's got notes for everything, and he's organized. He knows where it is and how to find it, and the documents and the spreadsheets and all of that. I get him in there, and then I forget that those are there. So if he does a note and he shares the note, then then he says something, then I know where to find it. But I'm like you. On my shelf, I have dozens of actively working journals because I don't know, I would just rather write. Something about it's like reading. I love listening to audiobooks, but there's nothing quite like sitting down with a real book in your hands, right? And turning the pages, feeling the book. I love the idea of the technology, but there's nothing quite like sitting down with the pen or pencil. I love writing with pencils too. And just putting things down in a book. I don't know why I like writing with pencils. I didn't used to when I was younger, but as an adult, I really enjoy writing with pencil. Maybe it's that softer edge feel. I don't know. Feels more artistic. I also love writing in a good journal with a glass pen, or a calligraphy pen, or just not that I can do calligraphy, but I just like the writing with the writing pen. Let's see here. Smart's Christmas journal works for me. Okay, so that's smart. If you're not going to put it in your, like Glennis would put it on her iPad, but Sylvia has a Christmas book or Christmas journal, and that's where she documents all that stuff. So she uses that year after year. So she knows, this is a habit that she's built. So she knows exactly where to go to find the lists and the notes. And she does everything from menus to parties, invitations, gifts, everything is in that Christmas journal. So that's a really great idea. It's a really great plan. So she doesn't have to wonder, where did I write it? She knows it's in the Christmas journal. Before COVID, we used to entertain a lot. We'd have some kind of get together at least once a month in our home. COVID changed all that, of course. And I had a notebook or a journal that I kept those in. I would write down, the date, the theme, if it was a theme, or the type of get together or party, who was invited, who came, what food we had. And that was really easy because they were all there in the same book, and I could reference back to anyone in the past. And I also wrote notes afterwards as to what food was really popular, if something wasn't popular or well liked, what was asked for. Sometimes people are like, oh, did you make your blah, 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 whatever. Is there something that people always really like or want? So it was very helpful to have that all in one book, but we don't do that anymore. So I found that book the other day on my shelf and went, wow, it's kind of cool to look back at all those old parties, get-togethers, but at the same time, I'm going, wow, that seems like an entire life ago, right? Before COVID. COVID seems like so long ago, and not that it's gone. It's not. I know people who got COVID just a couple weeks ago. It's still alive and well, but the whole shutting the world down as it did for a period of time, changing our lifestyles. That really did change a lot of things that we do. Oh, I need to get in there and Get that. Rolodex is working for you too. Awesome. Yeah, we did a Monday Jumpstart on ways to keep those things. The Rolodex is a really great idea. Thank you, Glennis. Adding Glennis to our list of names for today's drawings. Thank you. Appreciate your support. The Rolodex. Yeah, Sylvia, do you want to give them a little more detail on how you use that Rolodex? I don't have to do all the talking here. You can type as well as I can talk. Let's see. Save on computer. I never find it again. For some reason, my penmanship is much better in pencil. You know, what is that, Carrie? That seemed a little weird to me. I agree. I agree with you. Mine is as well. And maybe that's one of the reasons I enjoy writing in pencil. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Why it would be. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but Mom's Bible have locks of hair of grandbabies. Oh, wow. She left you lots of cool stuff to put in scrapbooks then. No audiobooks for me. My headphones are for music. Yes. Love pencil work. Yes. Calligraphy. Yeah. I would prefer to have a book in hand. However, time being what it is. Well, and honestly, the audiobook started when I was going through a medical issue where I couldn't, if I focused my eyes on the book page, the book page would hypnotize me and I would fall asleep immediately. It was easy to do while I was driving too. Focusing on the road would hypnotize my brain and I would fall asleep. So there was a long period of time where I couldn't read because every time I tried to read, not that I couldn't read, every time I tried to read, I would get maybe 2 pages in and it would hypnotize me. And it was so painful and difficult to try to do that I didn't want to stop reading. I love reading. That's one of my all-time favorite hobbies. So that's when I started doing audiobooks. So at least I could still get the books, even if I couldn't physically sit down and read them for a period of time. And then I continued listening because of time constraints, and I do enjoy that. Also, it depends on the type of book too. I listen to books and I also read books. I don't exclusively listen to them, but I do appreciate that as an option on a lot of books. There are some books, I get a lot of books from the library, and they don't have all books on audio. There are a lot of books that are only available, in the written book. And that's okay too. If I can get some on audio and some on written book, then I can do both. Daughter got COVID at Oktoberfest in Munich last month. See, my sister went to a wedding. The whole family is the other side of the family. They were getting together 3 or 4 times during that weekend for events for the wedding, and she came home with COVID. No idea how does pencil make a difference. I don't know, but it does. It feels different when I'm writing, and my penmanship is better. I'm with you on that, Carrie. Okay, is anybody else gluing down scraps? Are you doing scrap pages right now? I'm going to go to the back here. I keep starting with one piece up there, so I'm going to start this one a little differently and do a thin one across. Those little tiny scraps I should be cutting over here, so I could just put that directly into the trash. I can cut off just a little bit more of that white. Okay, so Sylvia's telling you about our Rolodex now. We did have a jump start where we talked about, when I ask people over the last few years, before we did that jump start, I had asked lots and lots, dozens of people, what is your biggest problem or your biggest frustration in your craft room, art room, studio, whatever it is. And by far, the number one answer I got is, I can't find things. I know I have this and I can't find it. That was by far the number one answer. So I decided to come up with some solutions that, different things work for different people. So not everything works for everybody. So I came up with some solutions, and we did a Monday Jumpstart on some solutions of how you could find your things, keep track of things to know where they are. And one of them was the Rolodex. So the Rolodex tells you where tools are, where wood burning tools are, where there are 2025 photos, if they're in chronological order, what our botanical stamps are. It just helps her find things. So you take the Rolodex and you can just put things under alphabetical. And so if she goes under T and writes tools, and on that card she writes whatever the tool, wood burning tools, and where they are. If they're in a box, in a drawer, and so you can't see them, you wouldn't know where to look, that will tell her right where to go find them. I'm going to close that because I keep getting distracted by the colors over there. And I love that idea, because that Rolodex, if it can sit on your desk, great. If it can't, well, it can't. But yeah, you can find your things right away, and you just put everything in by alphabetical order, by what you would call it, by how you would look for it. That's the biggest thing is, somebody says, well, I would call this blah, 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 and I would look for it. But if you put it there and you would never call it that, you'd never look for it there, you'll never find it. So it really doesn't matter what it's called, how it's listed. It's what you would look for. So when you do something like that, make sure that you're doing it the way you would do it, not the way somebody else says that it should be done. Okay, that's what's most important there. But every time you stick something in a drawer, every time you stick something in a box, or, the box up on the shelf or down below, or, somewhere, and you're thinking, am I going to remember that it's down there? You just grab a card out of the Rolodex, write what the item is, and stick it in. Write what the item is on top, and then write where it is or any other details you need to know, and stick it in the Rolodex. And it's awesome. Glennis, you're doing a variation. Let's hear about your variation. Carrie, on your way to physical therapy? Oh, I will say enjoy. Sometimes that's enjoyable, sometimes it's not. So I hope that it's not unenjoyable for you. I'll say that. I know that's not always the most enjoyable part of the day, depending on what they're doing. And I'm pretty sure it's probably still your shoulder. So let's see here. So one of the other variations was a little notebook, a journal of sorts, and it had every open, like I didn't write on the first page. I opened it. Actually, the first page could be used as like a table of contents, but I opened it and had A, and both of those pages were A. Turn the page, and B, and both of those sides were B. Next page, so that you've got 2 full pages, an open spread for each letter of the alphabet. And it was exactly the same as the Rolodex. And so you put something somewhere, you just go to that page in your little notebook. Mine used to be hanging right here. I moved things around and it's not right here. So a lot of good that's doing me, right? You just go to that page in the notebook and you can find it. I need some bigger pieces here. I keep going to these small pieces, and I need something a little bit bigger. Do I want something triangle? I want to cut that down. But yeah, whether you like a notebook or whether you like a Rolodex, that concept actually works really well. The thing that makes it work is that every time you put something in something, if you put something in a container on a shelf, in a drawer, up on top of a cabinet, underneath something, you put something away, that you write it down. As long as you write that in your book, that system works fantastically, either the Rolodex or the book. And it really is a no-fail system as long as you write down, where you put something. If you don't write it down, then, what are you going to do? A whole bunch of tiny bird images you don't know how to use. Aviary creature, woodland creatures, creatures with wings. So this would be great, Glynis. Make you a book of scraps, and then you could decorate it with little birds. It could be full of little birds. That would be actually pretty cool. Birds would make a great embellishment on something like this. I'm finding myself not necessarily color coordinate, but I think I'm trying to make sure things, well, not match, but coordinate. I guess coordinate is the right word. I don't know. I don't think that that's necessary, but I'm finding myself wanting to do that. Not wanting to put a super contrasting opposite like the red next to that. I don't know. This is kind of a pink orange. Not that red would be bad by that. Red would probably be good by that. Under scissors, I also keep a date for cleaning scissors. Oh, that's a great idea. That actually is a really good idea. Do you clean them and sharpen them? Is that what you mean? Or like I try to, if I use them and they get gunked up, I try to clean them right away just so that they don't stay that way. Next time I go to use them, if they're like that, I'm a little frustrated. Oh, this one might be really good here. Let's see. About there. If you did an entire book of this, you could use up a lot of scraps. And if you did a great big book, a bigger book, then this is just 8.5 by 11 piece of paper folded in half. If you did a bigger book than that, you could use up a lot more scraps. I wonder if I can get both of these in here. Yes, I think I can. All right, let's start gluing. Tote for Scrapbook Weekends has its own list of tools. Oh, yeah, that's actually really smart. So when you go, because you do go scrapbook for the weekend or a Saturday or something, frequently, you've got your list in there that you can just look at, gather up what you need, and go. Like we have packing lists. If we're traveling, grab the packing list, go through it. Here's things that you typically need every time. And then there's extras that you can say, do I need this for this trip or not? And choose. But it sure beats that last minute trying to think about what you need and you're in a rush and there's so much going on and you can't think about it. You can't remember. And then you get there and I will have inevitably forgotten something. So I love those kinds of lists. Lists are lifesavers. Wish we had an Ollie's in this part of the country. I saw someone get a scrapbooking tote for $20. Wow. Yeah, I know. Ollie's back east has lots of great deals, don't they? And it almost seems like Ollie's has picked up a lot of what Tuesday Morning used to do, don't you think? Stuff that I see. I mean, you're thinking, okay, we should be able to get some of that stuff at Ross, TJ Maxx, which are all over this side. But it just feels like they get a lot of this similar type stuff to Tuesday Morning, which we no longer have. Scraps are by colors, separated by patterns and solids. My scraps are not organized. So they used to be at one point till I started getting a lot. And then that was just too much. And I just didn't keep up on it. I see the benefit to doing that though. I really, really do. Okay, how did I have this? Like this. And what happened to the other? Did I just slide them underneath here accidentally? There was two more little guys. That was one. There was another. Oh, there it is. That's another. I'm going to put this thinnest one up on top, and then the medium, and then the bigger one down there. So it's just feeling a little bit crooked to me. Scrapbook List Retreats has its own set of tools. Both those totes have their own scrapbook photos. Attendees, projects made, prizes won. So you have a little journal or book for that. So every time you go, you can just kind of document that weekend, what you did, who was there. That's a great idea. There were giveaways, what the prizes were, who won. Like the record keeper. I know you go a lot of places where they have food. You probably even document what the food was, whether you liked it or not. I think that's a fantastic idea. I do like the idea that you have tools that go in your travel and tools that stay home. So they're different sets of tools, because I know you don't need everything when you go, to a retreat or to a crop for a day. You don't need everything, but you know what you typically need for something like that. And so you've got its own set to travel. Okay. All right. So there we have done one complete page, all 4 sides. And I'm just going to keep adding scraps to multiple pages and here's the other thing. Why can't I do black and white pages in the same journal? What if I had a black page, then a white page, then a black page, then a white page, or a section of black and then a section of white based? Because I think, like I said, I think there are, this would probably look good on either one, but I think there are papers that are going to really stand out better on one color, than the other. So, all right. So then you can do anything you want on top of it. And so this one, I did that. I stenciled that feather, and I wished I'd thought about that when I did it. What Sylvia said, putting foil on that would have been a really cool idea. But I didn't. And so that's just there. So then I can go on and I've got, like I said, all these little dishes of all the odds and ends and bits and pieces. And those are the things that I'm going to try to go through first. There's so many of them. And I'm going to try to use all the little things that are sitting around here first, to decorate. I've got a whole couple more stacked up on top here. Voyage to the New Frontier. That'll be cool across on one that has a strip like that, but maybe a wider strip. I'll have to keep that in mind, even on there. But keep that on mind, something that's a wider strip and even a solid, and I could put this on. It could go on there. Who says it has to go left to right? It could go up and down. But I'm going to try to use up a lot of these things that are sitting on my desk before I go dig out other things, because there are plenty more to dig out, but there are so many sitting here. There's a mini Rolodex card. I've got stickers and puzzle pieces and butterflies and tabs, pieces of fabric. So pieces of fabric could become a tab, on the side of the page that sticks out, flowers. These are offcuts from a punch, but they looked so cool, I didn't want to throw it away. So, in a gold foiled paper, and they're just offcuts from a punch. So maybe they could go, maybe that goes somewhere like that and just adds that little gold punch to that. Why not? There's a hummingbird. So I think, well, first of all, I'd like to know who all is either doing it now or is going to. I know Carrie's on her way to therapy, so she can't be doing it right now. But Carrie, do you intend to do one? Are you going to plan to do a book of scraps? Magicals for the feather. Oh, that's a good idea too. Yeah, I could do some lunar paste on the top of it. There probably is a lot of things. I could also take a foiled pen, a gold or a silver metallic marker, the one that is actually foil, and just kind of go over the top and make that gold or silver foil, or one of the other colors of metallic. I think I'm going to finish doing the other sides of this. This is dry now, so I could do the other sides, and that would be just fine. I closed this when I did the back there because these two pages aren't going to be seen together, and I didn't want my brain to try to coordinate them because, as that turns, and so I didn't want to try to coordinate those. So I think I'm going to continue covering this with scraps. I want to use up a lot of scraps, so I'm going to have to do more than 1 or 2 pages. I want to do a bunch of pages. And maybe I'll do a bunch of pages and then use some of these to stick in the giveaways and the prize packs, because then you can take a page. It would make a cute cover for a book or cover for a signature, or you could add it into a book, do whatever you want with it. Cut it in half and make 2 minis, 2 small books. Folders for my desk scraps are colored folders. They hold scraps. That's a really great idea. Kathleen Maurer is a great video on organizing scraps, cardboard flats. It's really good. I think Kathleen is the one that I watched, and I started with like cardboard flats, lids, thin, small boxes. Well, they're large boxes, but they're shallow. They're only 2 or 3 inches shallow. And then I wanted to put different types of scraps in each one of them, so that if I wanted certain types or sizes, I could just grab that. Not necessarily by color, but by type, because I tend to, look at the scraps by type, even down to the teeny tinies, or if it's a, grungy or a steampunk style or Tim Holtz style, however you, call it, or larger scrap, larger. I've got others, here that are, these are offcuts, but they're still large pieces of paper, and those need to go in their own thing. Otherwise I get those in there and I can't see all the little things. Guilty of consistently documenting. My name is Sylvia Paper. I like paper by paper. I make paper, right? Oh, man. Magicals, the powder, wax adhesive first. Oh, that's a good idea. Could put some wax on it. Could also use like some embossing ink and then put the magicals on it, or embossing powder or embossing glaze. I'm going to finish my train first. Good. Freehanding the front of a train. Wow. On my last base, wish me luck. If I fail, I have an alternative idea. You won't fail. And Sylvia, don't be so hard. Don't be so hard on yourself that you have to love it. Because, it's just the only one portion of it. And by the time you get it all done, all together, then you're going to love it. But I know you're a great artist, and it's easy to be critical of yourself. I'm getting the wheel of names up. I'm going to get the names on there. You've got about 2 minutes left if you choose to participate in the super chat and get in today's drawing. So far, I have Sylvia, Chris, Carrie, Jill, and Glennis in today's drawing. So I'm going to get those names in there, and then I will come back. So right now I cannot see the chat screen, but this gives me a chance to get these in. Then I'll come back and you can let me know if there's anybody else to add to this. I think everybody who's in today has won previously, and I'd like to think that they felt like they got a really great value for their shipping money, and that's why they're jumping in again to support us. Except Jill. Jill hasn't had an opportunity to win this prize pack yet. It's your turn, Jill. I can feel it. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Then you'll think I rigged it. There is no way to rig this, which is why I do it live so that you can see it. There is no way to rig the wheel. I just hit spin, and it does its own thing. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't rig it. Okay, so 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to get everybody in the drawing 5 times. All right, I'm going to come back to chat. First one looked like Godzilla. The second one looked like Chucky. And the third was their child. Oh, gosh. Rooting for Jill. Yeah. Rooting for you to win today. Okay, so I have Sylvia, Chris, Carrie, Jill, and Glennis in today's drawing. Oh, Sylvia, you better save those, though, because they might make the great cover for a Halloween journal. Oh, I really want to see pictures. Really want to see pictures of those, Sylvia. All right, I'm going to share my screen right here. Wheel of Names. Share. And put it up on screen. There we go. Stupid sticky L, right? We all knew what you meant. Jill's not particular about her second L, I'm sure, when you're rooting for her. Okay, so I am going to watch on YouTube so that I don't see who wins before you do. And I'm going to click spin right now. There we go. Then I'm going to turn to the TV, to YouTube. And just starting right now. Boy, I've got a huge delay. Huge delay. Oh, Glennis was holding her breath. It just went across the line. Sylvia, congratulations, Sylvia. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Sylvia has been so kind and has paid other people's shipping. Now she gets to pay her own shipping and she gets the pack. That's awesome. I'm very happy, Sylvia, that you won this time. Jill, next one is for you. Next one is for you. And I was thinking, I mean, I've got lots of these as I've been pulling out stuff, lots of stuff that I am happy to give and share. People pay the shipping. I'm happy to give them away in these prize packs. So I was thinking that I might pack up a bunch of these and then do them all day long throughout the Black Friday sale and actually just give away a whole bunch of these prize packs of stuff. Stuff is fun. Oh, Sylvia, you're gifting to Jill. Oh, that is so kind of you. That is so awesome. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of Jill. I know she's saying thank you. Congratulations, Jill. You did win. You won proxy. Sylvia was just proxying for you. That's awesome. That is so awesome. Thank you, Sylvia. That's very, very kind of you. Awesome. All right, Jill, if you want to PayPal over $10 for your shipping, I have a pack ready to go in the mail to you. I will get it out. So Sylvia's paying shipping. Never mind, Jill. Never mind. Do not send shipping, Jill. Sylvia is gifting you today the entire thing. That is so awesome. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you. Thank you. That is very cool. Congratulations. Yeah. Wow, Jill, what a great day. What an awesome, awesome gifting day. So I think, let me ask, how many of you or is there anybody who's sitting around today crafting, working on something, whether it's Halloween or Christmas or a train journal, because this is the last week for the train journal, or wanting to start this book of scraps? What are you guys working on this afternoon? Glennis, you are? Okay. Anybody else? Sylvia, are you going to be working on your train journal this afternoon? Okay. Jill, what are you doing this afternoon? You making soul collage cards or working on a craft or working on staying alive, Margie? I understand that. Working on club scraps cards. Oh, cool. Very cool. Okay. Because I want to end this live so that we've got our short jump start for anybody else who wants to go back and watch the replay. It's not forever. But I want to sit here and work on some more of these pages. I've got all these scraps out on my desk, and so I want to just make some more. So all I brought to my daughters in Oregon. That's awesome. That's okay, Chris. You'll get a lot accomplished just focusing on one thing. So I'm wondering if we want to go live again, and if somebody or some of you, multiples, maybe Carrie, when she's done with her PT, want to jump on live with me so we can chat and we can just hang out and work on whatever we're working on and just have a good old-fashioned laugh and craft. It's been a while since we did that, and sometimes we just like some company when we're crafting and chance just to hang out, laugh, share stories, what's going on for the holidays, what's everybody doing. Yes, really appreciate the comments and the thumbs up. Really do. That really helps YouTube to put our videos in front of other people who might be interested in them. And that's how we've met some really, really fun new friends. So I really appreciate if you can give a thumbs up and even leave a very short comment. You would like that, Margie? Great. That would be awesome. Glennis, are you up to coming on live? Jill, are you going to be around? Sylvia, are you up to coming on live? Just put the camera on your desk. Whatever you're working on, we can chat. We'll see if Carrie does after PT. Anybody else? Chris, do you have a camera phone available that you could even come on live? It'd be a nice casual way to get Chris her first live with HPP. Talks about the Berkeley company. Yes, Jill, are you working on that? Jill has to walk dogs. Oh, Jill, yes. You did tell me about that. And that is something that I want to do next time. I absolutely do. And I can't wait to see what it is that you're doing with that, with your portion. It's really cool. I kind of need to take the dog for a walk too, or at least take her out to run around the yard for a little bit with me. I might stand a while. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this live. And then I'm going to need 15, 20 minutes. And then I'll go ahead and create the event. And so y'all can come on back and we'll just hang out and have a good old laugh and craft and spend some time this afternoon. Work on whatever you're working on. If you, I don't like to be the only one talking. I don't like to be the only voice that you hear. So if you are up to coming on with me, just putting the camera on, your desk or whatever you're working on. I don't expect anybody to show their face. None of us are, getting prettied up to do this. We're just crafting. Cuppy knows where to go by herself like that. Then, shoot me a message and let me know. I'd love to have you on with me. So I don't have to be the only one talking, but if need be, I will, because I can read your comments. You guys can talk. I can read your comments. And because I want to sit and do this for a while, and it would be nice just to hang out and laugh and craft. We all could use some laughs right now, right? All right, so we're going to end this one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. And I cannot wait to see the train journals, and I can't wait to see the book of scraps that I know people are going to start. I know several of you have said you're going to do it, and you're just waiting till you get your trains done and that kind of thing. So I'm going to end this. And then if you will, I will go in immediately and create a new event. So watch for that. And I'll need probably 15, 20 minutes. We'll jump back on live and just have a laugh and craft. All righty. Thanks, guys. We'll see you real soon.